Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, it's Maxim again, and in December we are greeted by this email right before Christmas. So most of you probably didn't think much of this email in the game or didn't even notice it, and you weren't impacted by it at all. However, some players might have been impacted by this by quite a lot, and I'm gonna explain to you in this video why this inconspicuous email is actually a much bigger deal than it might seem and what it really meant, and why it's making me so mad, why it basically made me make this video, which is also gonna point out some other issues than just this email specifically, and why do I call this like massive hypocrisy, okay? So first I would like to start with some disclaimers. The first disclaimer is that whatever I'm gonna be saying is the way that I understand the events unfolding and how I understand the things work. I might not be 100% correct on every single thing. I welcome RiverGames or whoever wants to contact me, either here or they can write me an email if they want to. I would actually welcome it if they actually do come and speak about this publicly, because they already sort of addressed this. I do not know if they addressed this because of the player strike, because this was partially in the player strike demands, or if it was because I was actually sort of vocal about making this video. I started preparing for this video weeks ago, and I did tell about it to a few players who do have contacts with the developers, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Another disclaimer is gonna be that when I say devs, or sometimes I might mean publisher or whatever, basically I do not 100% know who makes these decisions for this game. If it's RiverGames or if it's, I don't, when I'm gonna say dev, I don't mean the specific single people developing the game, working, doing whatever their boss tells them to do, okay? I mean whoever does actually make these decisions. And so there's the second disclaimer. And the third disclaimer is I'm actually gonna be talking about Huawei Appgallery today as well. And there is no product placement in this video. I haven't been paid anything by Huawei to make this video. Actually, maybe they wouldn't be that happy about it some time ago. And I do not currently have like an active referral scheme. I did refer one friend from Discord over the last few months, and I did managed to save him a few, maybe like $100 or something. Who knows? And you could say save him, save him. It's more like save him from being cheated out of $100, which is what you're gonna learn what I mean by that. So yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to this. So in this mail, basically they say that, well, because of some currency fluctuations and so on, they need to change some prices to keep things fair, okay? So what this actually meant in reality was that they massively nerfed Huawei Appgallery buying, which for those of you who don't know what it actually means is one moment, which is basically that the company Huawei, right, similarly to Samsung and some other companies, they had their own game store or app store, but then after some time, because of some things in America and Trump, starting a war against them pretty much, they were actually forced to stop using Google Play Store on their phones, on their newer phones, and were basically forced to make the Appgallery a much bigger, more integral thing. And basically it became a third app store. There's the Google Store, the official Google Store, the Apple App Store, or whatever it's called right now, and the Huawei Appgallery. And with these three working side by side, and it being a completely legit thing, and the big difference was that, well, apart from Huawei offering some special bonuses and stuff and referrals and so on, which I'm going to talk about here as well, the main difference was that they actually don't scam everyone who is outside of the US, pretty much. So what do I mean when I say that we are getting scammed? So basically, if you check this table here that I have, it looks a bit better on the, like if you turn the phone sideways or if you check it on computer. I made this on computer, so it looks kind of sketchy like this, but if I turn it around, it's gonna screw the aspect ratio for everyone and so on. And basically, what this is like in Google and in Apple, for most of the countries outside of the US, we are basically being cheated out of our money by using completely bullshit prices. Okay? I actually wanted to make a disclaimer that I might be a bit rude in this video, but then I actually ended up being polite up to now, but yeah, I think I might not be able to. We are gonna see. So basically, if you check it, for instance, when I made this table like sometimes between summer and autumn in 2021, before this thing got massively nerfed the first time. So before this got changed, the issue is that basically, like for the players from USA, right? The biggest pack cost $99.99, which by real exchange rate, when I was originally making this like table of prices, was 2,189 Czech crowns. That's my currency. Right now, it's actually even less. It's like 2,150. However, in my country, Google wants 2,500 for it. And basically, what the difference was is that Huawei was charging you the equivalent of whatever $99.99 was. Sometimes even with a little bit like better price, right? You can see here that it was actually a better price than the real exchange rate. And you can check that like some other in other countries even it was even worse. So if you check the British Google and the British Huawei, the British Huawei was charging the legitimate $99.99, and the British Google was charging almost 3,000 crowns. So it's like $130 or more even. I don't have it counted to dollars here in the first table. I did make a table of the current differences later on that we are gonna see later on. And it's actually currently another channel. I'm gonna copy it at the end. And so that's kind of a big deal. So if you check it there, just the price difference was like absolutely massive. Okay, I'm actually gonna open calculator here and do the math for you. The difference is almost 30%. And then there was like the cashback, which was like that basically because Huawei wanted people to, well, for one, they didn't want to cheat people like this by the like bullshit currency exchanges, but they also were offering like special, like cashbacks for the referral. If you got referred by someone to move over to Huawei, you got 10% bonus every time you purchase something. This is not completely like because of how math works. I actually didn't do this completely correctly when I did this back then, but it doesn't really matter that much. And then there was also if you were spending enough money, basically if you were spending like one or $1,500 or euros or pounds, depending which region you were from, you were getting another 15% bonus points. So if you were spending enough money in the British Huawei with the referral, you would basically get an almost 50% price cut. Pretty much, you could buy almost twice as much stuff. If I'm gonna exaggerate, okay, but you can here you could or you here if you check the Australian one, you could buy like 60% more stuff for the same money, because Google is just asking, or like RiverGames through Google is asking like 60% more than Huawei was. However, this thing and it worked on any Android phone. You didn't have to have Huawei, and Huawei let you select your country or region, which was actually part of the problem, I guess, for a lot of people, because like you could actually change it to, for instance, Switzerland or the Australia or whatever, and get the best prices, okay? But even if you didn't change your country at all, you were getting like massively better deals, because even like without any special promotions, which were there as well. There was like special promotions, like in Egypt, you were getting 20% bonus on Fridays. In Russia, if you bought like during Christmas or something, you would like, or not Christmas, like whatever it was around Thanksgiving, so some holiday in Russia, you are getting 50% bonus points for whatever you purchased that day. There was many different things, and it was completely legit on Huawei to change your region like 20 times in 90 days. Then they changed it to 2 times in 90 days. Then you got locked in whatever you are set to. But these are, like whatever. These are their terms and so on. However, then they completely nerfed it, okay? And that's actually what this thing was about. They actually started doing it even like weeks before this thing actually. And yeah, like after that, I actually have screenshots here, and you can check here like the differences. So for instance, the Swiss, you can check here, the Swiss price used to be 83, which was like the legit $100 price pretty much, and then they changed it to 100, and the lower ones as well, some of them actually stayed the same. So actually, if you could actually get still the $5 and $9 options for the original prices, so you are still saving quite a lot on these, which is actually also a big deal for low spenders, because if you check, you can go through these if you want for the different things, different, prices before and after changes and so on. So if you actually went to the Czech ones, you could check in Czech region in Google, because we cannot change it. Basically, they are charging my country like 30% extra on the $5 packs, for instance. Okay, they charge us 129, and Huawei was charging 97.99, and the real like exchange price was like 102, 103, 104, something like that. Okay, maybe 105, but still, that's not really that great, I guess. So there was that. When I started making this video, this was basically the state when I started making this video. It was a little bit nerfed. You could check here, like there was actually multiple price changes in UK. This is like the prices before the first price changes. You can see £73 for $100 when Google was charging £100. Then there was first price changes. Basically, the way I understand this is that no matter what the RiverGames is trying to claim, they basically forced Huawei to change these prices. Because the way this thing actually works is that, at least in Google and Apple, the way I understand it, and from some source, from some app developers, and if you actually Google this, I did put some research into this, not that much, but some research into this. And if you actually count all the times that I actually spent dealing with the Huawei teams before, like I actually spent a lot of hours with like getting the information behind this video, you could say, back when I was like thinking about it as well, about doing the referrals. And I completely left out some things I want to say, but never mind that. And basically these like exchanges are by default set by Google and Apple. By default, they make these price tiers, like the developer or publisher makes the tiers for their game, what costs how much in dollars, and then Google translates that into whatever they think is appropriate for specific countries. However, there are ways to fix that. For the developer, they can actually force Google and Apple to use proper exchange ratios pretty much, but it does take them some time, and it's not like they have to do it country by country, which they basically could do. And they are basically claiming here in this mail that they are going to make it fair, that this is why they are doing it, to make it fair, but it's nowhere near the truth, okay? Because basically what they did was they screwed up the Huawei thing, so people couldn't save or couldn't actually use the proper exchange rates, while there is still such massive differences between specific countries in Google. This is not, now we are not gonna compare Google to Huawei prices, what we are gonna do is you can actually go here. There is in the screenshot request channel. This is what people. This is like screenshots from my viewers who were posting their Google prices, and I actually made a list here. This list here, and this is differences. This is differences in Google. This is like not. This is not Huawei or anything like that. So, and it's made in dollars. So you can actually check here that in some countries, Google and RiverGames, at the time that I started making these videos, which is 11th of January, was overcharging Danish players by 37%. 37%. While, for instance, in Pakistan, they were asking for 10% less. So the difference was 1.5 times the price. Like, Danish people have to pay 50% more than Pakistani people, which, yes, of course, Danish people have a lot more money than Pakistani people, but let's not talk about this, okay? Like, let's not talk about the comparative strength of buying strength of different countries, okay? That has nothing to do with this, and with them claiming that they want everyone to pay, like, the fair price. And yes, there was some reasons, like, to do this, like, specifically in Turkey, for instance. Like the whole thing here, pretty much what they meant, what they were mentioning in the video is basically this, okay? I should have done this the other way around, okay? But like, I should make it the other way around actually. Because, as you can see, basically the Turkish pound got devalued massively, and so the things in the game started basically costing like half the money in dollars. And you can actually see there was some screenshots here from someone with the prices before and prices after, and yes, it is entirely here, okay. So here it's actually entirely legit, basically them changing it. However, after they changed it, it was again like $120, okay? So they say like we wanted to make it fair. So instead of it being like $70 or $80 before the changes, they actually had like 3 different changes. They changed like 3 times or 2 times or whatever. They made it $120. They started overcharging the Turkish people again by like, okay, $123 is here actually. It's like, I actually wanted to be way more rude in this video, to be honest, because like this is pissing me off so much. Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. Like, this is making me so mad because I find this so hypocritical from whoever is making these decisions. And like, yes, I do understand that the companies are in this business to make money. And I understand that, they are milking the whales as hard as they can. They are, for instance, like they are basically taking advantage of the Google and Apple default pricing, which is basically scamming everyone who is not from the United States. And people start messaging me right now when I'm recording. Okay, whatever. However, where was I? Yeah, I understand that they're basically like taking advantage of it, and like this is not the only game, okay? The other games that I play have exactly the same pricing scheme for my country, like this one does by default. However, the other games are not trying to claim that they are changing the prices to make it fair, okay? While in reality just forcing another company to scam players who does not want to scam players. Because basically Huawei was using proper exchange prices instead of scamming everyone who isn't from America, until they got forced to do so as well. And there is another development actually, which happened like yesterday. There is actually another development which was not originally the case, and currently you can no longer actually purchase in the Huawei App Store you can't purchase in the App Store if your account was started on Google or Apple. So we're gonna see if this is gonna stick, or if this is gonna be only temporary, or if this is gonna be permanent, because I think that's another like completely bullshit thing, okay? Like, imagine that you just like switch to Huawei because you like Huawei phones, okay? You used to have like an old Sony phone or whatever. Then you found out, oh, I can actually save money, playing this game on another Huawei or another brand. Or you just like Huawei phones. There is a lot of people out there in the in the world who like Huawei phones. So maybe they just switched. And by extension, if this thing was actually like proper, then you couldn't even switch from Google to Apple or Apple to Google and pay there. So this is actually a screenshot that a friend of mine sent to me, and yeah, like recently. And we are gonna see how that's gonna develop, I guess. So I'm actually gonna make another I guess summary and another segue into something I want to say. One of the reasons why I didn't make this video before was that actually I didn't want people. I mean, I sort of wanted to make it and get some, recruit some people for Huawei and get some money for it. But at the same time, I felt like people would call me a hypocrite and they would say that, I shouldn't, that, like I'm just doing this for the money, making this video just for the money and stuff like that. And now actually it seems that it's no longer going to be possible. And as I said, like I don't actually have an active referral campaign right now, or I haven't referred anyone for a while. And I haven't even been like basically offering this to people anymore after the first changes, because I could only offer for British, like UK, United Kingdom, Australia, and other English speaking countries. I was actually in talks with like the Swiss Huawei as well, so I could have offered that one as well. But basically, in both cases, it got nerfed massively, and I feel like it was no longer worth it for people, except those who actually lived in those countries. Like if you actually lived in Britain and you're getting overcharged by 30%, then yes, maybe then it would actually be worth it for you, to just switch and at least save like 15-20%. Another thing is that actually there seems to have been some price changes in Google since I started making this video. As you can see on the Discord, if you go into that channel, there is the prices from when I started making this video, and they have actually already changed a little bit. So for instance, in Britain, it's now like 100, I think, sorry, the £100 is like £90 now or something like that, or 92 or something like that, instead of 19.99. 99.99. So we are gonna see. I don't know if this is like the result of the boycott and people complaining about these price differences, or as I say, like maybe because like I did tell about this video like 2 weeks ago to some people before I even started preparing it fully. And I did leave these things hanging up on my Discord for a while. And there is actually people both from Huawei and stuff on my Discord. And yeah, we're gonna see how this happens, because like, as I said, what happens with this. I think this is in general a big problem in many games, that basically players who are not from the US are getting scammed by the developers pretty much. And by Google and Apple. And yes, there is some taxes involved and stuff like that. There can be some differences in the, how to say, cause the expenses or whatever you want to call it. But still, if they sell one more $100 packs or they don't, it doesn't add any more, it doesn't add any more costs to the company. So even if it was the case that they might, for instance, have to pay like 15% tax in the country, they should just take it out of their own part. They should not, they should not make it so that like if they sell $100 pack in America and they don't, maybe they don't, I don't know, maybe they don't have to pay any tax. Maybe in my country they have to pay like the VAT. They should still take it out of their cut, because they actually don't have any extra cost from it. The only extra cost is gonna be that tax. So there is no reason why someone from my country should pay like 15 or 20% more for the same thing. For the big pack, it's now 16.19%, okay, as of 12 days ago. But it is for the small packs, it's like 30% extra, for instance. So there is no reason why I should have to pay like 30% more for $5 pack. They should just take the 15% tax or whatever from their cut, because their cut is gonna be pure profit anyway. Minus, of course, like the cut of Google and so on, but that's gonna also be lower if they make the base lower. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna copy this table into, I'm gonna copy this table into the price change hypocrisy channel. You can go and check that out if you want. And I'm actually a bit disappointed with how polite I was in this video, to be honest. I don't know if I'm just tired or whatever. But yeah. I'm honestly not I'm honestly not sure like how to, yeah. There is also some so yeah, like when I started making this video, there was basically in the Huawei, it was only, as I said, it was only worth it for players who were actually from these countries. But basically you could still get some pretty nice extra things here, which is like the VIP spending rewards, which are, although these are for any game, it doesn't matter if it's not like top 4 specific. It's just if you spend a lot of money in Huawei, you are still gonna get a lot of value back, so you are still gonna be saving some money. But as of right now, it's not possible in top 4. If you do want to make the switch, for instance, like for some other game that you play, that is on Appgallery, there's not every single game, but some of them are there. Then you can contact me if you want, and I can maybe restart my referral. As I said, I don't have it running right now. I can restart it. There is some for like other games like Dragon Raja and I don't know, like Evone, and there is lots of games which have these referrals. State of Survival, I don't know how many. There is a bunch of them. But yeah, this video is again like way too long, or longer than I wanted it to be originally. And I did end up being way too polite, so we're gonna see what happens with this, if it's gonna be permanently blocked or not, and how Google, Apple, and RiverGames is gonna address the price differences in Google and Apple, or if they are gonna keep scamming everyone who is not from the United States. With that being said, thank you guys for watching my videos, and until next time, have a wonderful day.